How are you?
Good. Good to see you, man.
You too, brother. Things are going well.
Good.
Scriber all the way.
I love it, man. That's awesome. Hey, we got Kenton Shepherd joining in. Barry's on here. Good to see you, Barry.
Good to see you.
Richard, right on, man. Good to see you. Kenton's on here. Good to see you, Kenton. I'll see you in a couple weeks down at Internachi. Who's going to the Dallas Internachi? Anybody gonna be here? Be there? Stefan,
Hey, how are you?
good to see you, man. We were
Good to
just
see
in
you.
Houston together. Stefan's out of Montreal. Good to see you, man.
Thank you.
Devin's on here. Right on, man. You've been doing commercial stuff. Oh, it's good to see everybody. Sorry, this our meeting was a little bit of a last minute thing. I think my marketing person forgot to send out the first email. But anyway, good to see some folks on here. Let me pull up an email. Somebody sent me an email with some things they wanted to go over. I've been getting a lot of emails these days. There we are. Heath, is Heath on here?
Yes, I
Heath,
am.
nice, right on. He sent me a list, and it's actually Heath with an H, Heath Williams. Uh, he wanted to go over creating gunny sacks and using creating blue highlighted text. So I thought those was some good things we can go over. I'll share my screen with you guys. And so how these work, for some of you guys who are new to these, I mean, I try to do these once a month. Like we may end up do them even more frequently. They're getting popular, which is great. And we've even in the past kicked around the idea of having like advanced sessions or maybe beginner sessions because sometimes the advanced guys jump in and we get like deep into the weeds really quickly, which I think can be hard for newer scribers. So Barry's shaking his head and laughing. You can kind of picture how quickly some of these get into the weeds, Barry. So anyway, please feel free to reach out to me. I mean, I kind of try to organize these, and we could go from once a month to twice a month, and I'd be happy to try to do like a beginner's version and an advanced version, but we can also just sort of wing it and keep doing what we're doing. They seem to be popular, and I kind of think there's something to be said for you can always pick up so much from each other. I think is what's cool. Like one of my favorite parts about Scribeware is I learn from other scribers. Stefan and I were just in Houston at an IGO conference, and like guys would come up to me and be like, "Dude, look what I built," and they'd like show me something they were doing with their template. I'm like, "Wow, that's awesome! I never thought of that." And so we're trying to bring that spirit to these, where people can show what they're doing, and if you want to go over ideas of things that the last one I think Scott's on here, Scott Baker, but he was really nice and volunteered to let us jump into his template. Scott, I hopefully that was helpful for you, man. I don't know if we came up with a few ideas for you. But anyway, I had one idea of something I wanted to begin with. Well, actually two ideas, and one of them isn't totally Scribeware. But let me share screen. Let's see where are my Zoom controls. There they are. Oh, I am sharing. Can you guys see my screen? Okay.
Yes.
Cool.
Yep.
Yep.
So this was a condo interior only that I did, and I used my regular template for that. So I do not have a separate template for condo interior onlys. And my rationale behind this is I maintaining a template. We got Kenton on here. He could tell you about maintaining a template and how much work it is. But right, I mean it's a lot of work. And so one of the things I came to is the more different services I can do with a single template, the better. And so I use one template for almost everything. So I can use my template for residential, commercial, interior condos, full condos, consultations. I can use one template for everything. And the overriding logic of Scribeware, if you're new to it, is that if you have a section like here, I have additional heat sources, and if I leave it blank, if I don't put any data in there, that will not print in the report. So you can look at the bottom of my template, and I have all kinds of weird stuff, pools and spas, a spark energy assessment, a checkout procedure, irrigation, a unit for multifamily, which is a pretty cool chapter that I employ when I get multifamily buildings, and I can copy that chapter like 4 times and handle a fourplex. I have a unit for commercial. I've got a reinspection chapter. So all kinds of weird stuff, and I can
But
employ these if I need them, but they're kind of just available to me. So
what?
that
Here, your earbuds over my earbuds.
Oh, I think Chris needs to get muted, maybe. Hang on. Or I think we're good at the moment. I don't have Charlie on here. I mean, where's Tim? Tim, can I make you a co-host and you can just help with managing stuff?
Look at me like that.
Where's Tim?
What?
Nothing.
Yeah. I'll just let him get him.
You're fine.
All right, Tim, you're a co-host, and if you guys can hear yourselves talking on here, if you can mute, that'd be great. I'd love to have you all participating, so feel free to unmute and talk as much as you like. But all right, so anyway, that's kind of how my template is set up, and so I just wanted to show you, like, I started a new report. So I started my regular residential template, and then under the client and property information page, I have this boilerplate. You guys kind of see where this is. So under boilerplate, I can click this, and I have all kinds of crazy stuff on here. But one of them is condo interior. So I switched my boilerplate. Like my normal one, my inspection company is Orca Home Inspection. So if I'm doing a regular inspection, that's my default boilerplate. Whoops, we'll switch it to condo interior, and that will be the boilerplate. And so we could go ahead and publish this report. So if you're brand new to Scriber and you think you're done with an inspection, I'm not quite done with this one. I got it almost done on mobile. I still got to do my infrared pictures, and I have 3 items to review. I could show you guys that in just a second here. Well, I'll show it to you now. Uh, so here were like these 2 red items that are things that I wanted to fill in. And this place did have an air gap, so I could say present, and I couldn't really see the water hammer arrestor, so I'll put not visible. And then I got one more item to review. Cabinet material was wood and wood laminate. So these required fields are amazing. You can set every, field in your template as a required field, or whichever fields you want. And so I call the whole required fields feature pushing myself through the rabbit hole. You guys want to show some hands? I mean, everybody here used the required feature, the required field tool. Jamie does, yeah. I mean, to me, this thing's absolute gold. The other day, I got kind of pushed into a situation where I had to do way more jobs than I really wanted to on that day. And I was exhausted. I'd been at the conference in Houston. I hadn't slept well in days. I was really hurting. I mean, and I just wasn't inspecting at my best. Like I was just exhausted. And I kind of slowed down and I just used my app and I tried to fill out the report on the app as I went. And the app guided me. It was holding my hand the whole time. Now, it's not necessarily the fastest workflow. Like faster would be like take a bunch of pictures and get the heck out of there. But even when I wasn't really sharp and on my game, I was really impressed how my app just pushed me through all these rabbit holes and made me answer all these questions. And I think that's a lot of why I built this stuff into my template, is to help build consistency into my business. Because I think we all know, don't, right? Like sometimes you're not feeling well, you're sick, you're tired, you're whatever, and it's hard to always bring your A game. So anyway, that's what all those required fields help me with. So now I've gone through, I've done the report, I've got no more required fields, I got the correct boilerplate. I can come up and hit the publish button. That's at the upper left. And I can publish and update Keystone. So if you guys integrate with either the ISN or Keystone, if I hit that, it will load the template into Keystone and Keystone will take over. They're going to send out an email to my clients. They will lock the report until it's been paid and signed. And then I'm kind of done with it. Like the Keystone takes over. I can publish without updating Keystone, and so I'm going to choose that, and then I can hide and continue publishing. And now Scribeware is talking to the servers, and it's loading all of this stuff into report and making a report. And even though my internet connection's clogged up with Zoom and stuff, it's still, this was a condo interior, so probably shouldn't take too long to publish. So this link is the report, and if you want to like email it or send it to somebody, you can always click on that little stack of books. But if I click on the report link, it'll open it up on my other screen. I'm going to drag this in. And here's my beautiful report. So this section at the top is my overview. So I like to do kind of an overview paragraph to kind of state generally how the job went. They're a total pain in the butt to write. If you don't like them, don't write them. But another idea for you, if they're hard to write for you, is use AI to write them. They actually, it does an amazing job. You can open Chat GTP and say, hey, I did a 1985 house that needs a new roof and the furnace is shot, but it's got nice wood siding and good, you can just kind of like describe how the inspection went and it'll like put that into an overview statement. So anyway, just a little tip for you. I've used some custom CSS to kind of change the overlay and these buttons and stuff. And then I've used observation tags. So my main summary page is sorted by urgency. So the client can quickly see, great, no major concerns, only 6 repairs. This was a condo, so pretty clean. So this kind of does the urgency. The complete report has all the pictures and the sort of CYA background information. This was a 208 volt system if you guys like to measure voltage, kind of fun. And then this is kind of cool, but I've auto-generated an electrical summary page of just the electrical items, which could be sent to Sparky. And this is its own separate URL. So this is pretty cool. I tagged all of my observations in my template that are electrical with an electrical tag. And so it auto generates its own summary page of electrical items. So now you can basically create within your report a list for a plumber, a list for electrician. You could keep going. You could do like roofer and HVAC. I've kind of stopped with electrical and plumbing for the moment. I'm working on a commercial template right now that's got basically every trade built into it because I think on commercial where you're going to see on residential where you're likely only seeing like 1 or 2 HVAC systems, so it seems a little silly to generate its own summary page. But commercial, think how valuable these tags would be where you could generate. I'll hit the back button and go into my report, but on the commercial template, I'm going to have electrical, plumbing, HVAC, roofing, exterior. You could have whole so auto-generating summary pages per trade. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Guys, yeah. So is this helpful, guys? I figured I'd just start like going over like publishing a report and just kind of looking at it. I think we've got some newer scribers on here, so hopefully that was helpful. Another thing I wanted to show you guys that's pretty cool is so we've got these photo filters, and I'm going to go ahead under the photo filters, and I currently have set media not in the report. So over here were every single picture I took on the mobile app, but these are just the 5 that I haven't used yet. So let's go ahead and I'm going to change that. And now I'm going to show all. So when I select that filter, now I'm seeing the pictures that have green check marks. The green check marks I've used in the report. Anything without a green check mark, I haven't used in the report. So now I've got all my pictures. So this is what I wanted to show you is let me see if I can bring this up. Hang on, this could be a little screen manipulation here. I got to get you guys out of the way. Moving you onto a different screen. Okay, stop share. Reshare. Okay, can you guys see my screen that has Google?
Yep.
Yeah? Okay.
Yes.
So now you see how there's on Google, there's this little picture thing. So I'm going to click that. I've got Scriber open on my other screen, and I'm going to drag a data plate picture over. And this was a data plate from the refrigerator. And I can say, how old was this? So it kind of like made this nice clean little thing from my data tag. So we're getting pretty interested in some AI integrations for managing data tags. This is stuff we're kind of working on for commercial. You know, AI is like the speeding train that one tries to latch onto. It's hard to know like where how all this is going to shake out. But is this helpful, guys? I just thought I'd show you like it was like, wow, what happens if I put that data plate picture? And it's like that's actually pretty effective and not all that time consuming to just, if I wanted to, if you're not great with computers, Shift, Windows, and S on a Windows computer lets me do a screenshot. So I could just go ahead and screenshot that and like put that whole little thing into Scribeware as a picture. Let me go back and I'll show you doing that. But I mean, you could copy the text and put it in. There's a lot of different ways to do it. Um, so I'm in Scribeware. That was a refrigerator. So we'll go into the kitchen. Can you guys see Scribeware now? Did I reshare
No,
correctly?
you're back.
Okay.
You're still on your Google screen.
All right, hang on. And I do reshare. I wish it'd be cool if I could share multiple screens at the same time in Zoom, but I guess futuristic thing. So anyway, this was an old dishwasher, but I just took the data tag and I copied and pasted that in. But if you can do a screenshot of anything you want and right click inside the comment and hit paste, and it'll just paste in the screenshot of anything from your other screen. So what's really interesting, I mean, I meet with a lot of inspectors that are like, I don't want to touch a computer. I want to do everything on mobile. And I totally get that. And I don't have a beef with it. But I have always made my own impression is that it's faster for me to do 80 to 90% of the report on my phone. But there's 10% of it that is faster and a lot more effective on the desktop. And I think that percentage probably changes for everybody. And some people just don't want to use a desktop computer. That's fine. Go for it, But these little things like this, like where you're doing multiple screens, is obviously kind of harder to do on mobile, I think. Again, there are AI integrated keyboards for mobile. If you want like Scribeware integration with AI, you can try, some of them I think cost $30 or $40, but you can get AI powered keyboards for your mobile device now that can help you write things and stuff. So I don't currently use one. Mike Paris is a scriber who's not on here today, but he swears by his AI keyboard. So I'm just giving you, next Scriber meetup, if one of you guys do it, let me know how it goes. I think like you guys, I can only digest so much technology at one time. So small bite-sized bits. But anyway, was that little AI thing helpful? I've been finding it really pretty cool and convenient. I've been working on a default Trek template, and I was using AI to like write lists of comments for me. And it's interesting. You definitely need to check it. It serves up things that are wrong. And then when you call it out, you're like, hey, that's wrong. It's like, you're right about that, and then it kind of like rewrites it. So I would be cautious with some of the stuff you get from AI, but this is an evolving thing. That's pretty interesting. So cool. Well, was that helpful, guys? You guys we did a condo inspection, showed you like publishing some stuff. We used some AI to like look at data tags and show how you can just copy and paste in over into Scribeware. So now what I wanted to do, if you're into it, is let's go into a different report and let's build a bunch of gunny sacks. You guys want to do that?
Yes.
Yes.
Nice. All right. The gunny sacks are phenomenal. So I'm going to go into this Trek template that I've been working on. Do we have any Texas inspectors on here? I don't see Rick. Rick's often on here. So Trek, Texas has their own, not only are they the biggest state in the country, right? They have their own way of doing home inspection. So everybody has to use the same form. And I've been building some really cool gunny sacks. So we'll just start with these. So this is kind of neat, and I actually could see bringing this over to residential, but this is a new tool that we have that Tim came up with. Tim Trickle's on here. Thanks, Tim. I'm going to just show you how I built these little boxes, but if I hit edit section and I go under this electric panel with the pen, there is the ability to display options as buttons. So that little check mark is what I checked in order to turn this into add service equipment, add sub panel, add electric panel. So the really interesting user case for these in Texas is that in Scribeware, normally if I needed to like copy an electric panel, if I were 4 electric panels, I would come up here and I would use copy section, and that would make a whole new, service panels too. I'm just going to delete this. I can't do that in the Trek template because they won't let you do 2 A's. So it presents a real challenge in a Trek template to how do you handle like a house with five electric panels and 4 sub panels, right? That they're kind of stuck. So check this out. My idea was like, well, what if we put like the description of the panel and the observations and the recommendations all in one comment? So let's go ahead and get some pictures we could play with. So to connect pictures in Scribeware, I'm going to connect them using the mobile media box. So that's this little button down at the right here. And this little portal I can fill with pictures from my computer. So I'm going to hit the plus mark here. It says add media. And then I'm going to go under, here I am. So this is a backdoor to my computer. So I'm under pictures and this A-frame house I did years ago that for some reason I'm always using as pictures. So I click the first one, I hit the shift key, I could hit this one and we'll hit open, and that'll bring a whole bunch of pictures in here that we can kind of fiddle around with. So these aren't obviously the correct pictures, but let's just put some in. We'll highlight them and put them in. So we could call this like under panel label, I could put my cursor here. We'll call this garage panel. And then I can click on brand and it opens up a list. So we could say it's, General Electric, and it's a 200 amp panel, and it's 120, 240. And here's a whole list of repairs. So Kenton, this would be interesting to you. Kenton builds a whole library of pre-made comments. So this is a single comment that has lots and lots of defects built into a single comment. So in this case, I could, maybe there were some double tapped breakers, double tapped neutrals, and missing knockout covers. And then I'll hit this period key. Looks like there were some upgrade options that I have in here too. So absence of AFCI protection. We could even give this one a label. So how about upgrade, absence of AFCI protection, obsolete panel, we'll call it Zinsco just for fun. So now we've got this whole list of stuff. Wherever I put a period, you could freehand something. So I could put a dead rat was found in the panel. So now I've got this whole list. We could move this from a no modifier to a repair item. And now,
Dylan, real quick interruption. Can that be done from the mobile version?
yeah, all this can be done on mobile. This is
like adding an extra a dead
well,
rat.
that's why I put the period in there, is it makes it really easy on mobile to add that. It's trickier on mobile without the period, but if I double click and you look at my list, this came up, Donnie Bentley came up with this, is just put periods in your list and it makes it super easy to freehand stuff.
Do that show again. I looked away for a second. Sorry.
Yeah, so just click the period.
Yep.
And then I'll close it. And then it looks like, here it is. It was down here.
Hey, Alan. That's Joe.
And then I can just start typing stuff in here.
Okay.
That makes sense, Jamie?
It does. And then do you have to go back? I mean, if you want to clean it up, can I go back and get rid of that period, just backspace in front of the T?
Yeah, you can just backspace in front of it.
Cool.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah. So now we've got a list of kind of repairs and upgrades, and we could make a recommendation. So this yellow is another little gunny sack. And so I'll click on this and we could say repair the electric panel as needed. So I don't know if anybody does this with other software. I've just started kind of coming up with this idea, but it's kind of interesting, like putting everything in one comment. The real impetus for this came with commercial, where you walk into a building and there's like 20 electric panels. And it's almost insane to separate all of these kind of residential styles and materials type things from everything else. Like it makes so much more sense to keep it all together from a commercial perspective. Don't you guys think? Anybody do commercial here? I mean, I just think it's so much easier to stay organized. So anyway, that's kind of how I came up with this idea, and I actually think it's going to be effective for the Trek template, where if I need to add a subpanel, two subpanels, I can just keep clicking on this thing, and now I got two subpanels that are ready to go. So styles, materials, and
Hey,
uh,
Dylan,
yeah.
this is Mike. Got a question for you here on, if you can scroll back up the screen just a little bit there to where you show your full electrical comment you just created at Gunny Sack. Um, the only thing that I'll add there is methodology. I'm not going to put the panels and the brands and the amperage voltage into that comment. I'm going to leave that one separated out, and that goes back to old history. Jamie will probably pop in so he knows where I'm going with that. But that portion of that comment, I would have separated and segregated away from the observations and the recommendations, repairs, etc.
And that's the traditional way to do it, Mike. And on residential, that probably makes the most sense, I think. Um,
Even on commercial, I'm gonna keep it split out just as the service equipment.
mhm.
And then I'm going to take it from there and I'm going to build out where you're at. All I'm doing is basically saying I would have two of those in place as opposed
I
to your
love that you
single
said
one.
that. So I actually set this template up where you could do either or. So check it out. Let's delete this and I'll show you how you could do it your way, Mike. Is add service equipment. It's a no modifier. You fill this stuff out. These observations and recommendations, because they're gunny sacks, they're not going to print unless I choose something from them. So then I could do electric panel repairs, and then you could keep doing them in groups, you know. So you could do them like that if you
Okay.
wanted to. So that would be another way to use this. So if you were dedicated to that, I would go ahead and delete that out of the comment because you don't even need it in there. But it's just and it's interesting, but this gives you by doing the panel brand and amps and that kind of stuff this way, you can keep all your pictures with it. So it's just something to think about. I think it's kind of brilliant for commercial. I'm not certain I would use it for residential or not. I mean, I haven't changed my template yet.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Dylan,
So
I
Tell you what I've been doing. I know
yeah,
I'm late, but I comment. I do that, but I tag mine different so that it'll show up in the the new added the electrical stuff. You
yep.
could add more than one tag to that.
Correct. Okay, so Donna, you're using this electrical tag, and then do you add another tag then for like if it's
Yeah,
deficient or something?
like if I wanted to put commercial AC on it, I've got a commercial AC tag, and then it would tag it out into two different
Oh,
places.
that's pretty cool. So what Donnie is saying is he could come up here and add another tag to it. So, I mean, I'm starting to use a lot. I've got a lot of tags going now. I've got my first group is all the location tags. And then I've got these bottom tags are more for my commercial template and residential, roofing and environmental and safety, HVAC, electrical, plumbing. Um,
Dylan, why you have all those separate tags? Why don't you just have like roof, electric, all that under one
Yeah,
heading?
because by having a separate one, it creates a separate summary page. So if I
Okay.
ganged them all up, they'd all be in one summary page. Yep.
Okay.
Yeah, which is a little bit too bad. Like, and it would almost be cleaner of a UI. We got Tim on here. You could noodle this, Tim. But if there could be one of these for summary tags, and then you could group all of them in there, because right now this takes up so much real estate, and yet, I'm not really using it. So
Yeah,
just
that's something I'm working on now. But I mean, you can have them do separate summary pages. You just can't set separate boilerplates. And so that's what I'm trying to figure out
okay.
how
Yeah.
to
And that is part of these. So like if we open up, oops. Sorry, I know we were going to go over gunny sacks. I got distracted with some of this. We'll build some gunny sacks, so hang on. But if I go under tags and we go under like electrical, um, this is what Tim was saying is that I'm using an electrical boilerplate. And so, I can't, if I want a unique boilerplate to this, I need to kind of have it in its own little box here, its own thing. So that's how the UI is at the moment anyway, Jamie.
Quick question for you.
Yeah.
Can you go back to, I think you run an electrical It looks like you're in your library now. Go back to the report.
To the, yep.
And then, yeah, so cancel that comment. Those three things, add service equipment, am I missing something? How are you doing that?
Yeah, so that's what I showed. So like these, I'll just show it again. You can just click and add as many of these as you want.
Well, I get that. How did you get those on the screen?
Yeah, so if you edit the section
Yes.
and go under electric panel, this thing, and edit that, it's this feature, display options as buttons.
Is that new? It's got to be new.
It's new-ish, yeah.
Okay.
Yep, it's pretty
Yeah,
pretty
Jamie.
new. Kind of why I'm going over it.
No need to take it any further. I will get
Okay,
that.
so yeah, no, that's great, Jamie. So let's
Hi,
go
Mike
ahead and
Patton.
build the gunny sack because I know everyone's been waiting with bated breath. So let's build one for electric service equipment here. So we could call this electric service equipment. And then I'm gonna space down and we could do what should we put under there? Amps. Voltage. Everyone gets mad when I do that, but I like to do voltage. Manufacturer. What else should we put in there? We don't really need age on a panel. Should we call that
Cover
good?
plate.
What's that?
Cover plate.
Well, that's more of like
Look.
like our dead front cover stuff.
Yes.
Yeah, to me that'd be more. We'll do that here in a minute. So,
Location.
yeah, location. Let's do that. I like that. All right. So now we got four little things there. And then down here, let's do observations. And then below that, we're going to do recommendations. So now I've kind of ferreted out like a crude draft of what I want this comment to look like. So now we're going to start messing with it. So I'll highlight this and I'm going to do blue and bold. And that I like the look of that. Now I want a gunny sack or a text replacement under amps. So I put my cursor right after the little colon there, and I'm going to use the text replacement button here. Everybody see that one? So I'm going to click that, and then let's just make a list of amps. So it could be 30, 40, 50, 60, I don't know, 80, 90, 125, 150, 200, 225. I don't know. Not bad, right? We get into commercial and stuff, but that gives you a whole list of different amps. And we could do voltage. So again, I put my cursor there. I'm going to hit the little button with the lines, the text replacement. We got 120, 240, 208, 240, and we'll just call that good if it's residential. And then manufacturer. So this is where we could use AI. Let's You guys see my AI screen here? So we'll go under Chat GTP. Please, I like to be nice with it. Please, these people are going to own us someday, so talk nice to it, you know. Please make a list of electric panel manufacturers. It does great with my terrible spelling too.
Make it alphabetical now. Wow, that's amazing.
Please make this
How many hours I
and
spent hunting that stuff?
remove
No kidding.
the bold font.
Can I say something right quick? Can you hear me?
Yeah, shoot.
If you use Perplexity instead of Jet GPT, it gives you the source for everything it says.
Which one do you like?
It's called Perplexity, and when you get a response like this, it tells you where it got the information.
Nice. That's awesome. Perplexity is what Kenton's recommending. Thanks for that. I mean, you don't really need a source for this, but for things where you like wanting a code would make a ton of sense, right? I mean, that's awesome. I'm going to write that down. Perplexity. Okay, so we copied that, and then I'm going to go under here, and we've got manufacturer. So I'm going to hit the text replacement button, and I'm going to paste this in. And for some reason it messed up the formatting on this a little bit. That's a bummer. Well, anyway, I won't spend a lot of time on that, but I think it'll still be functional here. Yeah, so we got a list there. Okay, and then we could do location, which we just make a list of locations. Where would we find a panel? It could be garage, basement, utility room, laundry.
Hey Dylan,
Yep.
are you able to add these alternate text options on the mobile, or do you have to do it on your
No,
computer?
no, this is all desktop stuff. Yeah,
Oh,
good
okay.
question. Yep. Yeah, I mean, the mobile is really a data collection device. And so this is why I always encourage people to get the desktop version of Scribeware. It's kind of where you build a lot of the logic, you know.
Would you put
So
overcurrent protection devices in here next to location or on that same line? Type of overcurrent protection device, fuse or
uh
breaker?
yeah, I mean that's the kind of thing like we could build in like you mean breakers or that kind of thing, Kenton?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, so we could do then we could do another one, right? Uh Oops, we don't need, I'm not going to do multiple. I don't need multiple selections. We're going to explore this button here a little bit. So breakers and fuses. And how about hope? Just add another thing. So cool. So we've like kind of built out like a bunch of different, oh, how did that end up down there? There we go. So now we've got all of these little gunny sack things built, right? So these are the most rudimentary ones, but we've got lists we can go off of. So now do you want to see how we do these observations? You guys want to like, because this gets a little trickier. So I'm going to actually cut this out, and I've got a blank space here. And now I'm going to hit the button, the magic button for text replacement. And we're going to do multiple selections and bullets. So what that does is give me this cool little list, and I can put the word observations up there. I could highlight it and make it bold. And now we could make a list of different observations. So let's go find ChatGTP. Please make a list of common home inspection findings for electric service equipment. Now we could put some periods scattered around, right? That we learned from old Donnie Bentley so that we could do freehand stuff.
Freehand stuff.
Well, that's just like these are pre-made, right? All of these things are pre-made, but you know, that only works so much of the time, right? I mean, I find a certain percent of the time I call it the dead beaver comment, right? You find some weird, a dead beaver's in the house and like you don't have that as a pre-made comment. So you need a little period there as a holder. And keep in mind, everybody, you do not have to write comments like this. So like I'm just kind of, we're exploring gunny sacks and like this is a neat little rabbit hole of like, what can we do with these? And so I'm just kind of showing you stuff I've been playing with here that can be pretty effective. So you see where we're going now? Like this yellow observations will not print in the report unless I choose something from it. But if I click on it, now I could hit a period to freehand something, or I could start evidence of overheating, scorch marked, oversized or undersized breakers. So, and I don't know how specific you like to be. Donnie Bentley uses a ton of this technique, but I think he would probably tell you that it's best to not have these lists too long. I think you probably want to think about creating like 5 or no more than 10 that are like your greatest hits that you run into all the time. And then the rest you could just do with periods and it's almost easier to kind of freehand it. But anyway, I'm going to uncheck these and we'll finish building the comment and then we can kind of play with it a little bit. So now I'm going to come up under recommendations and I'm going to cut it. And I'm going to go under text replacement, allow multiple selections, bullets, paste it up here, bold, and then no recommendations were noted. Hire an electrician to improve this panel. Hire an electrician to repair this panel. Hire an electrician to replace this panel. I mean, this isn't perfect, guys. I'm just trying to like show functionality here. Electrocution. All right. So you get the idea here. So now we've got a little recommendations gunny sack. So now let's go ahead. I'm going to add this to the library. So I've saved the comment. I'm going to actually edit in library and I'll put my name in here and that way I can retrieve this and I know that this little label stays hidden in Scriber, but this will help me retrieve the comment. So for example, I could go ahead and delete it and type my name in here. And now it'll bring that panel. So here's the comment. Now you can kind of click your way through it. So maybe it's a 125 amp panel. It's 120, 240. It's Cutler hammer. It's located in the garage. And we could hit the period key and then, choose some pre-made stuff. Aluminum branch wiring present. I mean, that's a good example of like, I would want my own comment. Oh, that's just missing antioxidant paste. But if you found like solid conductor aluminum wiring, to me, that kind of needs to be its own comment. You're going to want more information. But these are really effective for the little stuff. Breakers not properly labeled, open knockouts, rust was noted, and we'll hit one more period key. So we'll close it up and we've got a little list. Now we could go to our periods. Mouse droppings were noted. And what else we put in there? Overheated wiring.
And there's a beaver in the house.
Yeah.
What's the difference between setting it up as a gunny sack like this and above, up above and just under electrical service, you've got service entrance type where you've got choices there too?
Yeah, so that's all the difference in the world, Kenton. Like, so this, like, I'm partly just showing like a demonstration of how you can use this tool. And this is kind of neat, but like up here, this would be the normal old way of using Scribeware where, maybe you have overhead service, but there are clearance issues. So now we've got one comment and this is a much more simple way of doing things. And that's kind of what I consider the old way of doing stuff where sometimes I'd produce a report that had like 80 repair comments or something. And what I found is that, I could open up my report and we could like analyze this, but a good example is like if I'm doing new construction and it's fiber cement siding, I'm very likely to choose a bunch of individual comments. So they might be the gutter is too close to the siding. They didn't use back flashings or joint flashings at the joints. There's concrete to cement board contact at the entry walkway. I'm going to use those as individual things, partly because my assumption is the builder's not going to fix them, right? And I might have like an illustration that goes with that, and so they're all separate comments. But let's say you're doing the outside of a new build and you found paint touch-up in 8 different areas. Do you want to have 8 different repair comments for the paint touch-up? I mean, you can,
No.
but like to me, that's where I would like clean things up. And What's it? Did I get a no?
It's a hard no.
Yeah, hard no, right? Like, let's just do that in one comment. So then, so that's where I would start using a technique similar to this, where I would gunny sack more. Does that make sense, Kenton and everybody else? I mean, to me, there's a lot of strategy behind when and where you deploy these. And I don't gunny sack every comment. It's not how I write an entire report.
I don't understand. You can write it one way, so you don't have to have it in 8 different places.
Yeah,
You
let
can
me
either place.
let me show you, Kenton.
One other thing, Kenton, is the modifiers. I mean, like he talked about solid strand aluminum wiring. You may want that as a major, whatever your modifier name is, major concern, safety, and all the rest of that crap is just, there's a pointed screw, there's whatever. So you would break out your more serious comments individually. Am I stealing your thunder there, Dylan?
Yes, that's exactly what I'm talking about. I'm trying to find one that we could go look at. I'll copy this one.
The idea of having a separate modifier for the big stuff is, to me, is important because let's face it, our clients don't read these reports. They go to the summary. And if you've got aluminum wiring buried in a summary with a loose outlet cover and some easy, simple things, a GFI won't reset, they're going to blow through that and they're going to be mad when the electrician comes in and discovers that they've got branch circuit aluminum wiring. So having
Are you saying that one has a modifier and the other doesn't?
No, they both have modifiers. They're just different modifiers in my world.
Yeah, Ken, I think the biggest thing that help is just put yourself in the mind of like how to organize this data for people. I mean, it's there's certain things that are like, so, here's a newish build that I did, and the gutters are installed too close to the siding. Nobody's gonna fix that. But it's wrong, right? And so I make it into its own comment. We've also got loose fiber cement siding. So like one way that you could do this is keep adding, each one of these videos could be in a separate comment. But to me, I wanted to have them all in one comment. And so I kind of used the photo captions to bullets technique. So I have loose fiber cement siding. Technical Bulletin 17 by James Hardy allows for face nailing of the siding. So I chose this comment, and the comment came with a little illustration in it. And I dumped my videos in, and I put my cursor here, and my videos were captioned to say where I was finding the loose siding. So I took a video and I spoke a caption in, and I captioned my video. I put my cursor here and I hit this button, and now I have a bulleted list of these 2 items. So in this case, Kenton, I gunny sacked 2 comments together so that I don't have to sorry, spell check there. So that I don't have to have I don't need multiple, like, fiber cement siding was loose, fiber cement siding was loose, fiber cement siding was loose. I've got like two comments in one place. And then if we go down, this is my favorite kind of comment. I mean, this is a parent comment that I've used called "A plan is needed for the exterior envelope." So that's like very vague, right? I'm just saying, and this is incredibly effective. So look at my pictures, you guys. Like, there was rot and a whole bunch of trim here. And I think it would be a bad technique to write a report where if I took every one of these pictures and it was an individual repair item, I would have 20 repair items for the siding. Or more, like 25, and they would all say the same thing. They'd be like,
And they would
Rob,
want you to identify exactly where they're at, and if you miss one, now you're in trouble.
well, thank you. That's right. It kind of, if you make an individual comment for each one, it leads the impression that each one of these is its own thing and that you found this one thing. And the reality is, so if we read this, a number of issues and defects were noted that require repair now or in the near term. The most pressing issue is the wood trim. So I kind of custom wrote some of this, which is rotting in a number of places on the south and west faces. Inspection of the interior around these exposed windows did not show signs of leakage to the interior. The hope is that this project will just be replacing this failing exposed wood trim. The sooner this project is done, the less risk there will be for concealed damage. I also made a number of other siding comments here. These should be considered when evaluating the scope of needed exterior repairs. There is everything from needed caulking and painting maintenance to loose siding that could be addressed as part of this trim replacement work. Examples of observations found during inspection today include the weather strip of the overhead door is loose and needs to be secured. Heavy fungal growth on the wood trim at the exposed south side. Mushrooms are growing from the trim. South face over the entry porch roof. Mushrooms. And this comment didn't take me that long to write. I mean, this part up at the top was harder to write. All of this was all voice to text on the mobile app, just captioning what and where. What and where, what and where, what and where. I'm using voice to text and I'm just boom, boom, boom. So all of this came from my pictures and I've gunny sacked it all into a single comment. But notice if I go back to Kenton's question, I did not put the gutter too close to the siding there because I know nobody's going to fix that, you know, and I kind of like kept it as its own issue, you know. Um, does that make sense, guys? You guys kind of see? Stefan, I'm so glad you're on here looking at this. Like, you sent me a really nice sample report. I loved your sample report. There's a lot of detail in there. But one of the things I was thinking about is how you could take your level of detail and try to kind of gunny sack certain things together. And you might want to keep some things separate, but I think it would actually clean up, make your reports a little easier to read and more concise if you use this technique in certain areas. And again, I don't recommend it for everywhere. But you know, if in this house I had what could have been 20 or 30 comments, and I'm down to 5 or 6 comments. You know, I've got one about, or it looks like I have even more. I had a lot. This was a complicated exterior. So joints not in moderate contact. I've got that. I've got they had this stupid design on the front of the house that I felt compelled to say, I can't believe it's not leaking, but I can't find it leaking. So I have a note about that. I have this detail in the fiber cement sign. Has everybody noticed that you get a call from the client that's like wondering about people missing caulking on this detail? And that drives me crazy. So I put in the report like, hey, do not caulk. It says not to caulk. This is correct. I put that in there. Penetrations, this should have a mounting block and it doesn't. So I have a whole but I list that as a future project. Jamie mentioned modifiers. You know, you could call it a repair item. Do you think anybody's going to rush out and rip that whole vent apart and put a mounting block in? Nobody's going to do that. It's just never going to happen. So I call it a future project. Again, the modifiers, yeah.
Everything I've got it set up to accept 2 modifiers on everything.
Say that again, Donnie. What modifiers?
It'll take 2. Everything I got 2 placeholders, so you could have like you said, you could have a repair and a safety all in the same. You know, and it'd make 2 different blocks. But I've got that option under every pull down.
That's really, and yeah, we could jump in and show your template. Donnie's mastered the art of less is more. You know, I mean, it's fast, and I really respect that. Like, that's not, you know, I apologize. Like, I have my own like ridiculous way of doing things. That's probably not less is more, but I don't know. In any event, this kind of how I do it, and we're trying to show techniques in general, but I hope that makes sense, Kenton. But you know, I do have a lot of different repairs, but I've kind of compartmentalized the repairs into me the logical way in which some of these things would get fixed or not get fixed, depending. That makes sense?
Well, I have a lot of this stuff written as separate comments, but you got them into here using voice to text. Can I just transfer them into here from the other parts of the template?
Well, that's what you could do, Kenton, is like look at your template and think about, let's just take electrical as an example. Well, electrical is not the best example, but like siding, you know, where you think you need to explain something like a special illustration and, you know, this whole detail, it might make sense to do it the way you're currently doing it. But you might think about building some parent comments like this that have some pre-made versions of like, wood decay was noted, loose siding was noted, caulk repairs are needed, paint repairs are needed.
Basic descriptions. Yeah.
And kind of, like a siding maintenance parent comment that could be used. It's like, but you see what I'm getting at? Like a lot of those little
Yep.
things could all be
Yep.
rolled under one comment, whereas certain things require their own comment, I think. And there's no like guiding principle here. Like we're kind of making this up as we go along, but hopefully you guys.
I'm just saying that I've got basically what you've got here in my template already that's written about like this.
Mhm.
I'm just wondering, since you
I
use
think
push to text,
these are probably the unique kind of comments, Kenton, that I built. But these are my parent comments right up here. These are inspector only notes that won't print in my report, meaning these checkboxes won't, but I can click it and instantly get a comment. So that was localized rot repairs, and that shows up all the way at the bottom down here. But if you look at my parent comments, they are localized rot repairs needed, localized siding repairs needed, localized caulking and painting, inconsistent flashings, flashings not sloped to drain, a plan is needed, and then I've got gunny sacks for masonry siding, fiber cement siding, and vinyl siding. It's pretty interesting. Like, I mean, these like, honestly, Kenton, like you'd have a hard time getting too many different types of envelopes at me that I couldn't use one of these comments for. And so that's just, I don't need to go search for a million comments. Like stucco is a good example of like, I just don't want 10, 20 different individual stucco comments. To me, if the stucco needs repair, it's one system and it's one contractor. And I'm going to make one recommendation that you need a stucco guy, and I might have two or three little picky things, or I might have like 20 really glaring things, and I would kind of modify the comment accordingly.
How about air conditioning? Clean the furnace, the filter, clean the condenser fins. There's insulation coming off the refrigerant lines. You can have just boom, boom, boom. And there's, I'm just going off the top of my head, but there's probably 8 comments. Put it in one thing. It's one system.
Yeah, that's a great example, Jamie. So check it out, guys. Here under my HVAC, I have gas, propane, oil, electric, forced air, basic servicing recommendations. So I click on one comment and this service the heating system, and I can double click on this and I can choose gas, propane, electric, or oil. And then I've got here, I could not find recent service records, so I could double click on that. A recent service record was found on the furnace, but I still noted a number of repair items, right? I mean, you run into that one. So I can now use this comment for anything. And then to Jamie's point, none of my specifics are in here. I'm just going to take pictures and caption what I see, so I'm just photo caption to bullet technique, and that way, like it makes inspecting, it liberates you because you can just look at like the furnace and be like, there's rust inside the cabinet. The burners are super orange. There's condensate stains below the induced draft fan, right? I mean, you just like speak in what you see, and that's all you really need to do. So it reduces your entire workflow to just take pictures and caption what you see. And you kind of gang it all together. Is that helpful, guys? Or I mean, anyone mad about this? Yeah. Jamie's mind is exploding. I mean, you came over to Scriber a couple of years ago with a whole team, and you probably didn't do some of these things in your old system. It wasn't as set up for it. Have you guys changed how you work and stuff now?
Yeah, we've got what do we have, 10 users now, 9 or 10. And our inspector managers on this call. We are starting to use gunny sacks frequently, and it is easing everybody's report writing. People like it. It has cut down on liability. We've always done a good job with that, but we're not having to have all these very specific comments and all the big long narrative. It's like, look, this are wrong. Have a heating guy look at, have a roofing guy, have whatever it is. So yes, it has absolutely changed my way of rating reports.
And Jamie, you've been inspecting for like 30 years before using Scribeware?
Oh, well, only 36.
Yeah. So anyway, I mean, these tools are good. Like they're innovative. So they take, you kind of got to open your mind a bit to some different ways of doing things. And I mean, one of the things that I love about Scribeware is that Jamie and I and Matt Main and Donnie Bentley and I mean, geez, some days I want to feature Matthew Scott on here. He's on this call, but I mean, we all do it completely differently. Everyone's got totally different templates, different workflows, and I can learn something from all you guys. So maybe our
You know
next
what?
meetup, I do want to, I really like featuring other people's templates. I feel like we get stuck in my own world, which I have my own
Dylan,
silly ways of doing things. But anyway, um,
question, question.
yeah.
So after you do all of this great stuff, do you have to go down and click the save template button, or does it automatically save it to that template?
What a great question. Thank you. Yeah. So, if we go back to that Texas template, I kind of jumped to try to show Kenton what I was doing with like gunny sacking and versus not gunny sacking. Let's go back to that Texas template we were playing around with where we built that gunny sack. And let's go over saving this library comment versus updating the template. I'm so glad you brought that up, Chris. Thank you. Okay,
Chris, are you
this
on
is
is it just you, Chris, or are you on a team?
My three boys.
You are going to love this, that you can just save it and everybody gets the updates right at the same time.
okay. So this is that one. Where did we build that? Electrical, we built that comment. So, uh, where did it go? Is this it? Dylan. I wrote my name on it, didn't I? Here it is. So this is that comment that we authored together, guys. So if I want to save this comment to the library, all I need to do is come up to these three dots and hit add to library. Now it's saying update library because we already saved it. But all I would need to do is hit the three dots here and add to library, and then this comment will be saved. I used edit in library, and that brings up this little box, and that's where I put my name, and I was able to kind of give this a label. And that way it's got kind of my name in here. So I just wanted that so I could retrieve it. I might actually delete it when I'm done. But um, okay, so that's how you save the comment. Now the next step would be connecting it to something. So let's say, let me delete some of this. And let's go ahead and you guys want to build a new one of these boxes and we'll connect this comment to one of these boxes?
Yeah.
That'd be fun. All right. So we were going to edit section. Guys, with me, three dots up here. We're in this section. So we edit section. That'll turn it green. We're going to we're going to add another one of these. So we're going to hit the pen here to edit it. And Dylan's panel. All right. So we've added another one and we hit save right here. And so we built a new little button here. We've got Dylan's panel, but if I click on it, nothing happens. Right? So whereas these ones, I click on it and I get something. So now the next step is click on it once so that it's kind of engaged, so to speak, and come down here and use the three dots and you can connect to fields. You guys see that one? Can I get some amens and hallelujahs? You guys with
Amen.
me?
Amen.
Yeah. All right. Connect to fields. Dylan's panel. It served it right up. Now, if I hadn't checked it, I wouldn't see that. But because I checked it, that's available to me. And so now I hit close. Now I can go ahead and delete this. And now you can see it's blue. And now I got that comment connected.
Wow.
Pretty cool, huh? So yeah, and that's how you can build. So let's go ahead. I'm gonna well, this is just one. Let me make sure I know this is one where I'm putting a title in the client name so I know which template this is. I don't want to butcher too much stuff. So let's go ahead and build a bunch of inspector only notes. So these things are super cool, right? So under branch wiring, let's delete this to get it out of the way. Wiring is subject to physical damage, abandoned wiring noted, unsupported wiring. So this is like Kenton, this is like Kenton's old method where you have one comment for each specific finding. Physically damaged wiring noted. So how you build these is pretty cool. Let's actually go to a different section and we'll build some from scratch. So we'll go under electric service panels and I'll make a little greatest hits of individual things here. So I'm going to edit section and we'll add new, and I'm going to call this most common electrical. And let's make a list. Double tapped neutral. Double tapped hots. Openings in dead front cover. Loose breakers. Multi-wire branch circuits, missing handle ties. Okay, so I got a little list here. So now what do I want to do? I want to display these as checkboxes, which it would end up doing in mobile anyway. The mobile is always checkboxes, but I want to do that for desktop here. I don't want to show them in the report, and I don't need to include unchecked options in the report. I'm undoing that, and I don't want to see the checkboxes. I want them to stay hidden. So I'm going to make an inspector only note here. So inspector only note and display as checkboxes. Guys see those settings here for this? We'll add the field. So now we could start connecting things to this. So I've got this little list, so we could do double lugged neutral. So I've got a comment there, right? And then I could double tap neutral, 3 dots, add to library, connect to fields, double tap neutral. And I can go ahead and delete it. And now it'll just pop up. Amens and hallelujahs. You guys mind blown? Is this too much?
Dylan, can you preview so we can see that what doesn't print?
Yeah. So if I go ahead and preview this, and we'll go to the electrical section. So here's that double lug neutral, but see how the checkboxes don't show up? Or that one that I connected it to, that stays hidden. Everybody with me? Yeah.
Yep.
So, I mean, this is, Kenton, like for you, if you want to build logic into your template and you've got all of these comments all written, you just go under each section and make a greatest hits of like the 5 or 10 most frequently run into things that you run into all the time. And then you know, so again, double tapped hots, right? You have a whole comment for that. So double tapped hot. I'm writing a comment because this is this Trek template that I've been working on, but
I've done that.
I'm going to add it to the library. I click double tap HOTS, and then I come up here and I connect to fields, double tap HOTS. And this is how you start building some logic into the template where you're just really like serving up the obvious things to people. I mean, I think I'm really proud and psyched that Jamie mentioned that, you know, like quality, like, you know, reducing callbacks and stuff and like keeping the quality up. I mean, if you build some of this into your template, it's what I mentioned. Like it was really interesting for me. I was so tired the other day, and I had 2 big jobs to do, and it just was killing me. But I just took my time and I followed the mobile app, and it kept like my brain was not sharp enough to keep thinking of all the stuff I was supposed to think of. But my mobile app helped me. I was just like, it kept asking, it forced myself through all these questions, and like I got done. And I was like, I actually did a pretty good job considering how tired I was.
But after you do all of that, do you click the save template button on the left?
So good question. So if all of this stuff is part of a template save, now the comment is not. The comment is saved here, but the link is part of a template save. These little check boxes are part of a template save. So then what I would do is hit save template, and I don't want to do that here because we're kind of just screwing around with this. But that's when I would hit the save template. So let me show you what I do, Chris. the narrative comments are very easy to update as you go. So let's take this as an example. Double lug neutral. Let's say I add something to it. I type in something new. I'm like, that's way better. All you need to do is come up here and hit update library, and
Okay.
it'll remember that for the next time.
Okay.
So very fluid. Every day that I work and do an inspection, I'm tweaking my library to make it a little more accurate, a little faster. There's more information in it. The structure of the report, like the fact that I linked these, is a little harder to do when you're doing a live report. The reason is that when I'm doing a live report, less so in the Trek template, but in most other people's templates, let's say I'm doing a job in Montreal with Stefan and I've added 6 subpanels to the house. If I hit save template, it's a global save. And so now I've got 6 subpanels built into my
I get
template.
it. I get it.
Well,
I
yep.
get it.
And so what I like to do is make a list of template changes. My templates, hey, I've saved them as jobs by putting them out into the future. And what that means is they're always kind of living at the top of my home screen.
Yeah.
So I have a ridiculous number of different templates I'm working on, but these are like all these different templates that I'm working on. And look at the date, 2077 and 2076. And I mean, it's super arbitrary, but these are kind of my templates. So I might, Chris, after a long day of work, I'd be like, I'm going to build this, 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 and this. I'm going to go open up my narrative style report. This one's acting as my template. I'm going to make those changes. I'm going to hit save template. Well, here, let's do it. I'm opening this up. I customize some stuff, right? You change some things, and then I hit save template, and it's gonna save as the narrative style template. Now I could rename it. I could call it narrative 2.0 if I wanted to, and then it would fork it. It would save the old narrative, and I would have the narrative 2.0. But
Gotcha.
as long as I call it narrative style, the next time when I'm on the home screen, I go under create from template. And I go down to narrative style. I actually have 2 of them at the moment, which is kind of quirky and weird, but in any event, that's one of my own problems. It'll build a copy of that one job that I was working on. And so it just builds an exact copy of that template. Does that make sense on templates? I
Yeah.
know that's actually like, it's funny. It's so simple that it's actually confusing.
It's funny because I was adding some stuff and it's the meat and potatoes. It's not the comment side. The comment side I understood by updating the library, but I was adding, some check marks and stuff like that in the actual tops of the components and not hitting save template. And I noticed the next inspection, it wasn't there.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
that's why you need to hit save template, and then you need to be a little careful because another way you can do it is just keep hitting save template on every job. What would happen is, let's say down here on this job, I made some customizations to my template, and I hit save template, and I call it narrative style. Okay. Now this one is my template. If I come up here to this job I have out in the future and open it up and make some changes, it would overwrite those changes. In other words, the ones I did in this job don't go to this job because I already started it. That makes sense. And so anyway, it's a little, you have 2 options. One is to leave a job out in the future and intentionally work on that. The other is just keep doing it on the fly. The one risk if you do it on the fly is that you end up with 12 subpanels or something funny like that from a live job,
Gotcha.
Yep.
Okay.
It's the one trick that I think Steve didn't understand. When he originally designed this, I don't think he understood how much we would tweak a template to suit a specific job, which made it harder to kind of keep saving template on a live job because you would end up capturing the quirks of that specific job.
Gotcha.
What's that green check mark?
I think Jamie liked something I said and he put that in. It's like a Zoom thing, and I don't know how to get rid of it. That's a good question, Barry. I've been wondering it myself, but Jamie liked something I said and he used that, and
Okay.
yeah. So cool. Does that help, Chris? I mean, that's a really good question, but I think we kind of walked through like building a gunny sack, saving the comment, and then
Yeah.
how to save the comment versus how to save your template. you know.
Yeah, I mean, don't get me wrong. It's light years ahead of, working the old home gauge software from 25 years ago. You know what I mean? I mean, it's so stuck in my brain, and 90% of the comments I bought Kenton's comments many, many years ago and brought them in. So it's like now I've got this newfangled, report writing software called Scribeware, and I can do all this crazy shit that I could never do before. And I sit here some mornings because I'm usually up at 3 o'clock every day writing reports because I'm in Metro New York. I'm doing two a day, 7 days a week, some days three a day.
Yep.
If I don't stay on top, I fall behind,
Yeah.
or I
Yep.
can't push it off to some of the boys on the boys side. So this scribeware has totally rethought the way I look at a report writing.
Yep.
It's mind-boggling.
Well, what I'm hoping, Chris, is if you can take it in bite-sized pieces and strategically deploy some of these tools into your template, don't try to do too much at once. You want to do little bits at a time. And what you'll find is that a year or two goes by and suddenly your business is more profitable,
Yeah,
that you can write higher quality reports more quickly.
yeah,
And that's my goal for every scriber is just higher quality reports more quickly. And you can't just like snap your fingers and do it. You got to kind of like work at the template and
yeah,
make little adjustments and
yeah,
stuff. And you heard like Jamie's got a whole like team of 10 guys that he's got to, whip into place. And so does Donnie and Jim. And so, you got to kind of not do too much at once or you'll throw everybody off the horse.
yeah.
You know? Uh yeah, Donnie.
Um, my whole report's built on this gunny sack theory, and the talking about the bigger teams, it's so much easier to teach them.
Yeah. No, it's super cool. I mean, I wonder if we should show yours real quick, Donnie. Do you guys want to hang on for another 15 minutes or something? You guys want to see how Donnie does his?
Sure.
Here, Donnie,
Yes.
would you mind showing it real quick, Donnie?
Uh, sure.
If you're kind of tired, you don't want it, no big deal. Like we could do it a different
No,
time.
I ain't doing nothing. I'm waiting on Susan to come home.
Cool. I'll make you a co-host here. But
Let
Donnie's
me.
got like Donnie really mastered like the sort of short and sweet, and he's using gunny sacks in a super powerful way that are pretty cool. And I mean, Donnie, you brought over like 17 guys or something, and they're all started doing
We
reports
we
on
we
site.
got we've got 18 guys right now and two in training. So
Yeah, and you guys are mostly on site, like maybe clean it up a little on the desktop.
most of my guys completely finish up on
Yeah,
site. Other than I recommend proofreading.
yep.
You're going to have to hit me here. Share. Let me share my screen. Continue. Yes.
See, I'll stop share. That might help.
Yeah. That made mine a lot cleaner.
Cool.
What do you all see now?
We got your
There it
desktop
is.
and Scribeware, so we're making progress.
Is that
Yeah,
it?
there you go. Now we got you full screen.
Okay. Like you was talking about air conditioning. Uh, the first thing to remember, this doesn't work as good on the desktop as it does the phone.
Yep.
But if you click on that, I've only got 5 required fields. And I can, click on, unit number 1 or whatever. And if I want to take a picture, like I said, you got to understand this is on the phone. So you just click general photo and I can pop my camera right here and drop pictures. This is where I've got all my stuff for problems. I got an action item. See, I've got it tagged as HVA system, AC operation. I can just click on this. It's an upstairs unit. Um, improper temperature differential. Recommend evaluation. Drop a couple of pictures in, and I'm done.
I mean, that's amazing. And so going back
And
to
then
like
it,
what we were saying, where you could have like, people have hundreds of AC comments, and you have two AC comments.
yeah, and then if I've got something that's really weird, I'll just click on my period, and I'll add whatever I need here.
Yep.
and uh, and done. And if I've got anything else, I'll just caption it to a picture. And if I've got another operational thing that's not doing what I want to do, I'd say I've got action item and action items. This will come back as defective. Then I can put it, the addition, whatever, and put everything here. Drop my pictures. Like I said, your camera's right here. And like I said, if I want an electrician, I can just tag it my electrical item. And now I've got it in the HVA system and the
And
electric item.
electrical. That's super cool.
And like I said, I've got all my, like age, of course, I've got all this stuff built in where that, at 15 years old, it gives you a due diligence. 10 to 15 just gives you information. I got my manufacturers here, the type and size, it's a heat pump or whatever. And then all my information, I've got it where that when it goes into the summary, all my pictures and stuff I'll print in together. And if you go to, I'll hit a garage, I've got several things in my garage that I do because we found a lot of stuff wrong. But ceilings, usually you just type something simple. But if you got exposed framing, I got fire rated stuff already built in under a safety heading. The electrical, say if it's 110 VAC or, I use one, everybody around here does. But if it's non-GFCI, then I can click this. If I got an action item, I can click this one and this one. Change, to safety, just repair. It just, and on the phone, you just keep clicking and you're
Yeah,
done.
Donnie was showing me at the last conference what he does on the phone, man. I couldn't, it was so fast. I just couldn't even, it was just mind-boggling. It's amazing, Donnie.
Another little trick that I do, especially on the phone, like if you save your template, if you close everything on your you have to have the same report open on both, then close all your options because they have to pull down on the phone, make them be closed when you start. And then if you, like I said, you go in a garage and it's a brand new house and there's nothing wrong, if you start at the bottom and just click as you go up, everything falls away from you rather than having to, you don't even have to scroll your phone. It'll all just fall out of the
So
way.
you basically open up a section, go to the bottom of it, and just it basically feeds you to the
Just start
top.
clicking with, and if there's nothing wrong, like an attic, I go in the attic and I got my location and I hit general photos and I take all my pictures right here. I don't move any pictures around, even if there's something wrong, because I can move it later if I want to. But then you'll just click on the insulation. It's bats and blown in, and no ins whatever. If you click something that's wrong, it's already built.
Yeah, super cool.
So Donnie, how did you build that in there with the attic location where once you clicked on that, you got that sub menu to pop up with general photo, then it's in blue, and now you can attach your photos. Can you walk through that?
Uh,
Was it that insulation depth one? Is that it?
Yeah, the very
No,
top
it's
one, the very first one
general
that you
photos.
opened up.
what you got to do is come in and edit your section, and I'll come down here that doesn't have anything on it. See how I've got general photos and just I got 5 items here, but I've got this one linked, action items linked, and this one linked to different ones. See, now Dylan would fuss at me because when I started doing this, I screwed up the information I use is my general photos. So I don't really have the one that's got the small font.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm not going to rebuild all this just to change that because it doesn't really affect me. But to build one, you just add new, name it. And I put this on every screen. And then I come in and I build my list here.
That's pretty cool, Donnie. Yeah, you can just copy and paste
And
those first three in, right?
yep, you just copy them and paste them. And then, of course, I'm going to do this old school way just because my taskbar is blocking me. But, you know, I would, just add the field and then I would come back and create you a
Yeah.
modifier observation and whatever you want it to be. Like right now, I've got a bunch that I'm working on that I've created. I don't even say, this template don't have that modifier in it. But commercial AC, I'm building one out this way. But everything, like I said, then when you click on it, general photos, that's the top one. And if I just need to take some just documentation pictures, they go there. With what kind of they have. And then if I've got a problem, I'll just click on action item. Here's my list.
Yeah, this is what Donnie was saying. And see how his little list within that gunny sack, he's just got 5 or 6 things and then some periods. And it's helpful if you don't make too big a list or you have to read through your whole list. I
Just
have a
have to start
couple big
scrolling
lists
back.
that I use a lot, and so they're actually pretty fast because I know where everything is. But if you don't use it much, it's a lot of reading to like read through your long list, you know?
And I made mine short deliberately to start with to train the guys because I didn't want them to have to remember where 25 items were instead of 5. And then I let them have some input to add on, and it works great for us.
That's awesome, Donnie. Super cool. And it's really neat to have you show this on the same, where I was showing my template. I mean, it shows how drastically different you can set stuff up, which, to Chris's point, you move over and it's like if there's a big toolbox here. It can be kind of mind-blowing to figure out which parts of the toolbox to implement. But that's kind of why we do these meetups, is that hopefully it inspires you to take one thing. And I wouldn't try to go too crazy. Like, you can start with a lot
Well,
of the stuff that you know.
uh,
And doing it kind of the
another
old
thing
way, and
that
then
one
what's
more
that,
thing
Donnie?
I found that, yeah, I found one more thing. I'm like you, I like the capital blue, but I put a colon right at the end that's black. So if you add anything else, it's regular font.
Oh, interesting. Okay, you don't want to keep it blue the whole way. You want to be able to add stuff and have it just be
Well,
regular font.
if I want it to be the same, I just get on this side of the colon.
Yeah, yeah,
Oh wow.
it's kind of cool.
But like I said, it
Interesting.
allows you to come down here and start typing more stuff. See,
Yeah, that's a great idea, Donnie.
like you said, when you got the raccoon, that's where you can put him.
Yep.
But that's how I do mine.
Hey, Donnie, earlier in the meeting, you said you have an option for 2 different modifiers. Is that what you mean by your action item and action
That's what I
items?
mean.
Yeah,
Action
okay.
item gives. I use marginal and defective for my defaults.
Yep.
But, you can come in and change them to anything you want.
Makes perfect sense. I was curious earlier when you said 2 modifiers, but now I get it.
Yep.
And then you always put that period in a common location, right? Everyone's in the end.
Mine's I usually, unless I've screwed up, the first comment is a period and the last comment is a period.
One of each. All right. Just to eliminate scrolling or to give you 2 options.
Yeah, to where you're at when you're on the phone, wherever you're at, you can just click it.
Good.
And like I said, you can click it and you can add it in, and it'll put the period at the end. Or if you want to delete it, you can backspace. But when you're on the desktop, it's kind of awkward. You have to backspace it. But on the phone, if you just come in and click action item, and then click, I've got the word recommend repair on every one of mine too, just about it. And when you hit it on the phone, you can talk to text right there, hit your enter button, talk to text, hit your enter button. And the recommend repair always goes to the bottom, and every time you hit the enter key, it'll create you another bullet.
That's pretty cool, Donnie. Yeah, so you just speak in the specific stuff. I mean, that's the crazy thing about voice to text when you start get good on it with mobile is it's really hard to compete with talk to text. I mean, it's so fast and specific. And I mean, I know a lot of people are like, we want AI to write comments. And I'm like, well, if you want AI to work on the mobile, you need you need tons of memory on your device. It's going to take battery life. You need internet connection probably. And it's
Well,
like I can
and
just talk to text in and like I think I can outcompete AI with like that type of data,
and you
Is
can,
it
and
built into Scriber?
Pardon?
Is voice to text built into Scriber, or is it a separate program like dragging into the ticket?
It's a good question, Ken. It's basically built into the keyboard on your mobile app. So
Okay.
any keyboard you use on your mobile device works in Scribeware. So I use the Gboard made by Google, and I have found that that's the best voice to recognition. It's a lot better than the ones on like the default keyboards with Samsung and Apple. From my experience, I've had inspectors say they really like the AI keyboards for voice to text, but I haven't personally tried that. But it's not that we didn't build the voice to text. It's really just a tool that's built into your phone. And we get tons of questions of how we're going to implement AI integrations. But one of the things that's so tricky is, I think we're learning every day, like, well, which tools are available to us super conveniently that we don't have to build into Scribeware. Like, I mean, there's a lot of stuff that you can just get on your
Well,
phone that is sort of AI. So, that's part of the
yeah.
challenge of leveraging AI effectively is for us to spend precious coding time doing something with AI that is difficult to do outside of Scribeware, if that makes sense.
And I'm going to share a conversation I had with some pretty high level people the other day. They was talking about AI was going to do all this. They'd be able to just walk in and look at it. I said, when they do that, Amazon will be selling it for 19.95. So
Yeah, well, yeah. I mean
if it
that's
gets that smart.
yeah, if it gets super smart, uh yeah, anyway, I think you're right.
But
AI is a whole
anyway,
conversation.
one more thing I'll show you on mine. So I built everything into my uh, template. I've got my sewer scope stuff, my sewer scope videos. Everything's done built into it. And I've got a commercial section that I add stuff in. Uh, um, I do room to room, but I've also got an interior system built into it too. And I've got a different AC system where that you can fill out all the information. Uh, but I've got the smaller one that I use, and it's already in there. So
Look at that.
Donnie, how do you, sorry, go ahead, Dylan.
No, you go, Joe.
Donnie, how do you control that with the multi-inspector? Is this just, I mean, is this everybody using the same template?
they use the same template. Like I said, we're still using ISN, and it uploads their template every day when they tell it to sync.
Reason I ask is that more of these options that I build in for the guys, it becomes a, hey, when do we use that instead of this? And seems to be more of a training issue as they grow with the options.
And that's why we keep the list small. But every inspection is different, and they can voice to text. Some of these young guys, especially, you can't stop them from adding it in, but they can't build their comment into the template originally. It has to be on a house by house basis.
Agreed. Thanks.
You're welcome.
Let me just show you guys one thing. Donnie, that was awesome. Thank you for stepping in and showing that. We're gonna run out of time, and I just want to show one quick thing, and then we'll kind of wrap up.
Thank you.
Donnie's been incredibly kind, and he is sharing that template, and you guys, I think, can end up getting it. Notice how if you go I went under settings and profile, and there's this onboarding questionnaire, and you can go through it. And I think if you answer certain questions, Donnie's is the InterNACHI template, but it'll serve that up to you. So it's just an option for you. So you can re-download, and we're I don't know, templates is sort of the bane of my existence. Like, we're always trying to serve up different templates for different things. I'm working on commercial templates. I'm working on Trek templates. We're doing the best we can. But I hope this was a fun meetup, guys. Everybody get a little something good out of this.
Yeah, thank you.
Good
Awesome.
stuff.
Stefan, if you want to do one-on-one, hit me up. I know you just kind of signed up the other day, so let us know when you want to jump on a one-on-one. I'm happy to help you.
Well, if you have a little minute once this is over, I'd like just one quick question for you.
Yeah, cool.
Don't-
Why don't you just hang on, and we'll kind of wrap up the call with everybody else. But yeah, I appreciate all the support, guys. We're working hard on all this stuff, doing the best we can, and we appreciate you guys. So we'll keep moving down the road. Hopefully, Tim's going to serve up some fun new stuff for us one of these days. We're trying to get some tables going, which will be cool.
That will be awesome.
Yeah. And I'll be in Texas and Dallas at the InterNACHI show here with Kenton. I'll probably be there, right, Kenton?
Oh yeah, I've got a booth there, and I'm hoping to pick your brain while people are in class.
Great, I love it. Yeah, it's like to see you down there. Come find me at Scribeware if anybody's going to be there. And
I'm going to be there.
Are you? Yeah, that's right. Donnie's going to be there. I love that. We'll get to hang out some more.
Stay safe, guys. Stay safe.
Yeah, thanks everybody. We'll see you the next
Thank
one.
y'all.
Feel
Thanks,
free.
Dylan. Good night,
All right, thank
everybody.
you.
Yeah, good night, guys.
See you next time.
Let's see. I'm gonna stop the Zoom recording. How do I do that? I'll stop share for a minute.